Thank you, Vidita. Thank you for those answers. I think Nigel's waving. Nigel, do you want to come in? You're on mute, Nigel.
Well, I think Susie also had her hand up until Nigel can unmute himself.
Yeah, hi there. Great job on the
Hi.
presentation. Very clever. Um, so just to clarify, because it wasn't in the presentation, but I think you just said it. So can you program this to go down on a certain day? Like you said, 8 o'clock Tuesday or whatever. Is there a way within the app to tell it the specific day in which your trash is going down?
Yeah, so in this screen, you see how there's one side you can check what day it shows up on,
Oh,
and on the
nice. Okay.
other side you can write what time. So maybe I know some of my friends, they live a little ways away, but their trash comes at 7 a.m. on Wednesdays. So they would just hit Wednesday and type in 7 a.m. and hit save. And then that's the day it would come at every week.
Okay. And one last question. Who is the buyer of the product? Is it the trash companies? Is it me at my house? Can you
So
clarify?
So basically, we have like multiple different groups of people might buy this. First of all, our first thought when I made this was to have partner with healthcare companies to cover it under durable medical equipment such as patient lifts or walkers. So we could, for let's say if you're bedridden and you can't get up exactly and walk all the way down your long driveway to go take out your trash, well, they might provide you with one of these so that you don't have to get up every Monday at 8 a.m. just so you can take out your trash. And it would just do it on its own. And then we also thought that maybe the states might want to do that to increase the amount of people that want to live there so they can provide it to their residents at a lower cost. For example, as this costs like $830 and $350 for both the separate attachments, right? They could sell it to their residents for, let's say, $83 and $35 and you can choose to buy it from your state. And then we also thought that people could buy it individually. It would just be more expensive that way, but they might also get it from their state or their like own community, like their private HOA community.
Okay. One other thing, just there are
Susie,
lots of trash. Yeah.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off. I might be something I suggest that you share or ask when we get to the next step with her, just to make sure everybody can get a question in.
Oh,
Well,
sure. No worries.
Okay.
Okay.
we're in the next step already.
Oh, okay. So did everybody get their questions
No,
out?
Nigel still had a comment.
Okay, so let's let Nigel ask his questions and then we move to let's give advice afterwards, if that's okay. Nigel.
Hi, sorry, mute problems. Great idea. I saw you got some contact with someone in the trash business. Was I right? That was one of the things I thought I saw on the slides. What's been their reaction to this? And have you modified things, or were you talking with them still?
So let me share my screen and pull up my presentation again because I can show exactly what he had said. So I worked with Vincent Stetson, who is my town's public works, which he runs like the trash routes and all of that. And he thought that this was a novel idea with potential to help many people. He had a couple questions, and once I answered them, he said that his only feedback was to have some consideration for theft prevention. But what we had thought about was to add to create like an air tag. So once someone takes it, you can just track your trash can. Or we also thought of another way that the mapping feature could also work as a boundary. If it goes too far away from the boundary, it'll alert you so you can go check. but he thought it was a good idea and that not to talk to many other people because he thought that they might take my idea, and so he recommended to patent it. So he felt that it was a good idea with potential.
Great, great, great. I hate to be the villain in this scenario, but if I could ask the judges just to ask one question so we can have as many judges get involved. We've already used up all of the question and answer time. We've doubled it actually. So the next part is advice, 5 minutes for advice. Not each judge 5 minutes, but total. Anyone would like to give some advice? Nigel.
Carry on with the man you've found locally. His advice is already good, in fact, excellent, and he knows that business. And to have you with different ideas, obviously the man is not closing his eyes to it. He's interested in it. So the more you can work with him, the better it will be, in my opinion.
Great. Christian, I think you had your hand up.
Yeah, really good presentation, well presented. I like the idea. The thing I would say to think about is from a business perspective, you've got a lot of features, and actually think about how many of those features are immediately needed and what are the core ones. Because what you'll find is the more you add, the more complexity you add, and therefore the cost increases. And actually, the trick from a business perspective here is if you were just going to sort of people that were unable to take bins out themselves, they may not need like some of the app functionality. You might be able to save money and get it to market quicker by being more lean in the way you're thinking about your design. But it's a really good idea. Really like it.
Great, great. Any other advice? I know the questions were good advice built into the questions.
Yeah, Vidita, I just wanted to ask actually, is this something that you want to pursue, or is it just like a cool project idea?
So at first it was just a project, but as I've talked to more people, I've realized how many people in my own community that live only a couple houses down really need this. So now I do want to pursue this, and I would really like to patent the idea and maybe start actually producing it.
Okay, well, in that case, my advice to you would be to keep going. I think it's a great idea. And as Nigel said, it seems like you've got someone good locally, who can give you some support, and just try and get your first customer. I'm sure one of your neighbors, may be your first customer. Try and get that done. And just plan what you want to do for the next few months. And I'm sure you'll be a success. So well done and good luck.
Great, great. Susie, was it your hand?
Hi there. Hey, on the patent front, I recommend there's something called a provisional patent, and what that does is it gives you 12 months to tell the patent office you're interested in maybe taking it further, but you can put that on anything that you hand out or anyone that you talk to, let them know because they don't know if you're patented or not, but you're in the process. And it gives you a little bit of protection. It's only $65 as a micro entity. So I would recommend doing that. Talk to your parents and figure out a way. I think that would help protect this if you want to take it further.
Great, great. Gosha, you had your hand up? No, no. Okay.
Jake, how are we doing on time?
We have two
Can I get
minutes left.
something?
2 minutes left. Yeah, Fatim.
Okay. I love the idea, Vidita, and my comment is, I can see that this have a potential to go far, but it's more applicable for the developed countries. Maybe in the future, maybe after you have run the successful things for the developed country, maybe you can have the for the developing countries. Because the trash management in developing countries is quite different. So could be an idea for your future.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Great.
Very good, very good. Thank you.
We can move on,
Okay.
Julie, if you want.
Yep. Angels, just as Jake had mentioned earlier, if you could try to limit to one question, it could be that your alternate question is asked by another judge, and that way we can just stream through them. And if there's more time left and we still have time for questions, you can jump in and ask more at that point. Okay, so NeuroStride, Mohammed. are you ready to go?
And who's after Muhammad?
Can you see my screen?
Not yet. We can see you on the screen, but we cannot see your screen. After Muhammad would be Yusuf, but I don't think he is here. And
No.
so we would go with Zenith next
Hold up.
after Muhammad.
Uh, can you see my screen now?
Yes, now we
Yep.
see it.
Perfect. That's great. Hi everyone. I'm so excited to have the opportunity to present NeuroStride. My idea, it is an AI-driven EEG-based wheelchair. So, 25 million people around the globe suffer from a condition called quadriplegia, and this is caused by spinal cord injuries, cerebral palsy, or strokes. What happens to this is that there is no voluntary body movement. However, they have a perfectly working brain, so they have an intact cognitive function. And because of this, quadriplegic individuals require constant social dependence. And this has a significant financial burden, almost $3 million per lifetime in mobility related care. So you might be wondering, what if we use some of the state-of-the-art hand-free wheelchairs? For example, the Honda Uni One or the Omeo. But they have two fundamental problems. Number one being they are very expensive, almost 50K USD. And number two, they need body movement to operate it. Quadriplegic person doesn't have any voluntary body movement. So quadriplegic users need some sort of solution that requires no physical effort and is low cost. This is where my solution, NeuroStride, comes in. My invention, NeuroStride, is a smart wheelchair that is controlled by your thoughts. EEGs record brain waves related to the thoughts. It is almost 16 times cheaper than current state of the art wheelchairs. It utilizes artificial intelligence for motor imagery, or in other words, thinking about motion, to translate intended movements into commands for controlling wheelchairs. This is kind of how my system works. As you can see, I'm using very commonly accessible components such as Arduino Unos and e-bike controller. And I have a three-phase system. Number one is I collect the data and I pre-process it. Number two is basically when I get the data and make a prediction. And then step three is the prediction I get, I send it to the wheelchair to control it to either go forward, backward, left, or right. So you might be wondering, this sounds like a really good idea, but is the accuracy. The accuracy is an astounding 91.3%, and the latency is 200 milliseconds, or shorter than an eye blink. And as you can see, this system only costs $3,000, and it has so many more features than the other state of the art competitors. It's affordable, it is mind controlled, it is intelligent, it is open source, and it is quadriplegic. So the next steps are to test this with a broader user base, plug and play for portability and usability, and to support clinical deployment. Thanks so much for listening.
Well done. All right. Who'd like to start off the questions? I think Julian, you have your hand raised.
Yeah, sure. Well done, Abdurrahman.
Thanks.
That was great. You sound really passionate about the problem. Um, uh, can you tell me, where did you get the idea for this solution? As in, do you know people who are quadriplegic? Did you just see someone and just think they could have a better experience? What was the root of your idea?
Right, so that's a really good question. So, what happened was that so I live in a condo, and I knew like a quadriplegic person who I saw every single time he was trying to like exit the building. He would always need either someone pushing him. He never seemed happy, and a lot of the time I wouldn't see him for like months onward. So I one day decided to ask him what is the problem, and he explained me how he had this condition called quadriplegia, and because of this, he always needed someone to push him around. And because of this, he didn't have any like personal time. He couldn't even go to the washroom without someone pushing him. So he was always like unhappy, and I felt really bad for him. That I feel every human has the right to like have free mobility and have like a private life. So that's why I decided to make the solution.
Thank you for your
That's
question,
a great
Julian,
story.
and great
Thank you,
answer.
Abdurrahman. Yeah,
Nigel, I saw your
that
hand go up. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, Julian. Didn't mean to talk over you. Nigel, did you have a question? You still having mute problems?
Sorry,
Anybody else
doing
have?
this on
Oh, there we
doing
go.
this on a phone is not easy. No, the main point was, have you looked at working with any of the producers of wheelchairs to see if there's any interest in this and whether you could work with them, protecting your intellectual property, as it's called, of course, but that might be another way of getting through.
Yeah, that's actually like a really good idea. And that's actually one of my next steps. So I've been trying to talk to like a bunch of institutions in like Toronto that might know like quadriplegic people or people who have like mobility problems. And currently I am on track to have someone tested probably by February or March later this year. And that's hopefully something that I can do soon.
Great, very good.
Thanks.
Fatin, did you have a question?
Question. According to the one that you present, they have 91.3%, right? The
Sorry, could you
prediction.
repeat?
Yeah, 91.3%
Yes,
prediction,
Yeah.
right? How you can be certain that they have no mistake can be occur?
That's actually like a really, really good question. And to compensate this problem, because as you can see, there's still like the small percentage, like around 8%, that something might go wrong. And for this, we've decided to add sensors, so basic ultrasonic sensors that look at the distance of objects and obstacles around it. So in case it feels like something is too close, it will automatically essentially apply brakes and shut down the system for a while. And this is kind of like a fail-safe measure in case the system gets the prediction wrong.
Great. Go,
Thank you
Sean.
for that question.
Yeah, thank you very much, Fatin, for this question. Because actually, so my background is in computing, and we use this concept, Pareto concept, 80-20.
Right.
80%. So you're saying you have even 93 that you guarantee, and you basically for the rest you are putting the measurements that protecting. So this is marvelous risk management. Where you got it from? How did you get to that? How did you get to that conclusion?
That's like a really good question. So I've always been kind of like I really like maths in general, and so I've like I was looking at like a bunch of like cars. So I'm a very like I really like a lot of cars. So if you see like these self-driving cars, so I've kind of been inspired by them in a sense that they have like this self-driving software, but its accuracy typically is like 96%, right? So for those 4%, I wondered like what would they do if it messes up? How do we know it doesn't crash? And then they also utilize like sensors and emergency braking. So this is kind of where I was inspired for this solution.
Thank you very much for that.
Great.
Excellent question. Susie, I know you can't raise your hand if you have a question, so you're up.
Yes, I have a question. First of all, great presentation, great research. You should be proud of yourself. My question is, they have to wear a cap, correct?
Yes.
To okay. So someone would have to put the cap on them and then remove it at some point. Is that correct? I
Yes,
mean,
that
because
is
they
correct.
can't do it, obviously.
Yes.
Okay. And then when I can make a comment later, I will tell you my thoughts on the cap.
You sure?
Thank you.
Thanks.
Christian, did you have a question?
So there you go. I think my question would just be, I really like the research you've done around the competitors. How obviously these people that can't use these aren't able at the moment to use the competitors. What do they do at the moment? What's the current solution? What's the closest thing they have? And can you give more clarity on what it currently exists to solve this problem?
Right. So currently, at least in like most developed countries like Canada and whatnot, so what a majority of the time happens is that they have a personal support worker that is almost with them 24/7, and what they do is that they're on a regular wheelchair that they are manually pushed, and this is typically what they have. However, another thing that some people use is they have sorry, what's the word? A lot of them, what they do is that they have like family members come and cover, and like if they have to go somewhere, they are moved. But typically there's always some manual labor involved, either a personal support worker or a family member that is consistently helping them.
Great, great. The Q&A session is now up, and now we can go to the advice and maybe,
We just confirmed that everyone had a chance to ask a question, though.
well, they probably didn't. Do you want to go on more than 5 minutes?
No, I just wanted to know if every angel who had a question had the opportunity to ask a question. I think they may have. I just want to make sure. Anybody not have the opportunity to ask a question? Okay, thank you, Jake. So who'd like to start off then with the feedback?
Looks like
I think
Susie.
Susie's got her hand up. Susie, do you want to go ahead?
Yes, thank you. Back to the cap.
Yeah.
So just something to think about. Those caps can get quite warm. So I would think about creating one that provides some breathable, like a mesh or something that those electrodes can go on, if there's a way so that they don't get overheated, because if they do, then there's no one there to support them. If we're providing independence, you have to think about that piece.
That's great. Thanks so much.
Sure.
All right, Gosha.
And I'm glad that I'm going after that. If you're saying about independence, there is two concepts that you may want to explore. Sense of agency, so having control over your own actions.
Right.
And I think you should make more use of the story that you said about this your neighbor. It's a wonderful story, and the person, how I understood what you said, craving for sense of agency, so craving for having control over
Right.
their own actions. And if you build the story, you may actually get more people involved because they can find themselves related with the story.
Right.
Another thing that my question that was prompted by Fatin's question, thinking about this, telling more about your risk assurance, because this is
Right.
as well brilliant idea. I used to work with adult students, and
Yeah.
trust me, they didn't sometimes came to that understanding, to grasping these concepts that well, like you do. So Pareto ratio, or risk assurance, or both actually, you could more explore and
Right.
include, especially if you want to pitch it to business people or bank or somebody else to finance you for this.
Right. That's great. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Right, thank you, Gosha. Julian.
Yeah, so I know you want to make the price such that it is accessible to lots of people, but I think your product is worth more than $3,000, particularly if the competition is at 50. So I'm not sure what the price point should be, but I think it is, given that this could be, completely life-changing for someone, and if the existing solution costs so much, I assume there's a value to that as well that people are prepared to pay for. So maybe have a think about that. And I'm sure if you got investors on board, they would probably suggest that you look at the pricing as well.
That's great. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Satine, did you have a comment would you like to make?
Oh, I totally agree with what Julian said that maybe you can increase a bit more because it's a great, brilliant idea. These are very good things that you will propose. So make up with that more bit pricey. Because
That great. Yeah, makes sense. Thanks so much.
yeah.
Thank you. Christian, have you had opportunity to go this round?
Not for advice, but I think my advice would be it's a really solid idea. There's really interesting concepts to play with here. From a presentation perspective, you've got a really good emotional story here. You've got a really personalized story, which is excellent. And actually building that a bit more helps add the help to really emphasize the problem and actually builds a much more interesting narrative to your story. So when you're thinking about presenting it, really push on the sort of what is the emotion, what's the wider benefit you're bringing to an individual in this context. And if that's a sort of dignity point, that's really there's some really interesting stuff there.
Thanks so much.
You're welcome.
Have all of the angels had an opportunity to provide feedback?
I just make one comment. As Susie made a very good point of the last one about intellectual property, that's the understanding. It's not easy with computing and software, but you really need to look at that with some advice from a friend who knows about this. Because I think before you go talking to other people, you really need to protect your idea. That would be the advice I'd give.
That's great. Thanks so much.
Dick, how are we doing on time for this part of it?
We have 20 seconds left.
Okay. Anybody want to squeeze any one last thing in there? A little comment? Nope. All right. I believe, thank you very much. Appreciate it very much. Well done. And I think that we have Zenith up next. Yes. Are you guys ready to go? Rajula, Gargi, and Shruti?
Yes, I'll just share the screen.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Is my
I
screen
might have a
visible?
problem with my battery. Sorry, apologies if I disappear. It's nothing against your presentation, but I got a problem with the battery.
Okay. We'll hold down the fort. Thank you. Yes, we can see your screen fine. Thank you.
Okay. So, hello everyone. I am Gargi Ingre.
I am Shruti
I'm
Ghosh.
Ujjwala Kulkarni.
And we are Team Zenith. So, let me take you to what the problem statement is. Let me show you a video for it. Just a second. Okay, so I
Yeah,
think
just tell us.
Yeah, so the video is not working, so I'll just tell you the problem statement. So, the world is facing a crisis. Pollutants such as algae, water hyacinth, sea foam not only harm the environment, but also the ecosystem and the marine life. We need a sustainable solution which doesn't just collect the waste, but also repurposes it. Hence, introducing you Zenith.
Zenith is an aquabot that not just cleans the river but also moves towards revitalizing all of the waste material collected. It glides through water, collecting every bit of waste it can, comes back to surface, and then all of the waste material collected is revitalized into valuable resources. This is the design of Zenith.
Now, let me tell you about the design of Zenith. So Zenith is a lightweight floating body powered with solar power for energy. It is a hybrid model which works on batteries as well as solar power. It has propellers for movement and also has navigation and sensors and cameras for detection and mapping.
These are the robotic components that we've put to use in our prototype currently. And our current prototype is 3 feet by 4 feet in dimensions.
Now let us talk about the action plan of Zenith. Zenith's action plan is rooted in long-term sustainability. Powered by swarm intelligence, Zenith Aquabots operate autonomously while coordinating in real time, allocating tasks based on pollution levels, terrain, energy efficiency, and much more. This enables a faster cleanup and a wider coverage of large and complex water bodies. Before deployment, Zenith conducts a pre-mapping survey using onboard sensors and satellite data to assess pollution, biodiversity, and water flow. After cleanup, it has a post-mapping component, which gives a clear data back proof of environmental restoration. Now, this is the best part. The collected waste is transferred to the motile collection centers. These are mobile units that filter and segregate waste on site. Once a water body is restored, these units are relocated, ensuring flexibility and cost efficiency. Now, please allow us to show you the working video of our model.
Zenith collects waste materials such as plastic, foam, algae, and water hyacinths. And all of these are revitalized to turn all of these waste materials into products such as oil, biofuel, and plastic articles.
As we expand, we plan to diversify the roles of our aquabots to improve precision and overall efficiency. Rather than only one unit doing everything, specific bots will be designed to perform specialized tasks, some focused on mapping and pollutant detection, others on collection, and much more. Finally, we plan to implement a return loop model where every water body is put on a continuous care cycle, which ensures cleanup, post monitoring, community handover, and revaluation. By doing so, we don't just restore, but we ensure sustainability. The SDGs that are committed by Zenith are SDG number 2, 6, 7, 12, 13, which involves zero hunger, clean water and sanitation, affordable and clean energy, and much more.
So, Zenith isn't just a robot, it's a movement and it's a revolution, a step towards cleaner waters, greener futures, and a healthier planet. Thank you.
Very nice. Thank you very much.
We would actually like to share us that these are the awards that Zenith has won over the past 1 year. So we had the opportunity to meet Jake sir in Singapore actually recently, where we won the Premier Research Award and the Potential Impact Award. And we also won the highest accolade, the Titanium Award in International Creativity and Innovation Awards in Vietnam, which was held in April 2025. And we are proud to share that recently we also got featured in our local newspaper for the initiative, which is like a pioneering initiative in our city. So yeah.
We have a lot of questions from judges now, though.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you. Julian?
Well, first of all, great presentation, and congratulations on all of the awards. You guys must be very pleased, and you should be very pleased and proud of what you've managed to achieve so far. My question is, who is the customer? Who are you selling Zenith to?
So currently, we are aiming to collaborate with the local government bodies for them to purchase a subscription of Zenith. So we plan on giving Zenith on lease or like a actual product, like a purchase, but to the government bodies so that they can first of all sanction us the permission to work with the water bodies, the local water bodies, and also so that they can ensure the proper running of the model on the river bodies and the bringing back of the waste material and the revitalization.
And to add to that, after we are successful with this model, we will also be, collaborating with the stakeholders of this entire system. So, for example, the fishermen community or the farmers whose livelihood is dependent on this. And we will also run some, programs to train them as to how to use this product and to be stakeholders of this entire ecosystem. So that's our future plan.
Great. Thank you for that answer. And let's move on to Gosha, please.
I always know who to ask after. So that was a very good pre-question for me. I know a little bit, not much, but about fishing industry in the UK. So basically, just for a background, if it's different in the UK, fishing is one of the sports. So you can fish and then just return fish to the lake. And it happens that those lakes getting the plants over. So basically, at some point, it's very difficult to fish. Do you think would be Zinat good as well? You mentioned something about fishing association for this purpose. So for smaller lakes or for lakes, yes, for so smaller water places to help fishing places management to keep the lakes clean.
Yes, we do think Zenith would be useful in such areas. And Zenith is safe to use in water bodies which are heavily populated with fishes and other marine life because we have a mesh, which is the collecting mesh, which will be under the water, and it has perforations made so that if by chance any marine life enters into the mesh, they can easily find their way out, and there won't be any harm caused to the aquatic ecosystem. And Zenith will be collecting every kind of waste that it can find. It has cameras on three sides, so it can detect the waste that it is collecting. And we are working on making it able to sort or segregate the waste simultaneously while collecting. And due to all of these factors, I feel it's very safe to use in areas where fishes fishes grow, fishes live, and Zenith can be used to clean all of these niche water bodies as well, all around the world.
Okay, thank you for that answer. And let's move on to Christian.
So my question is kind of around the people side. So you're saying it's great, there's some ideas about it gets collected and recycled. How much people time does it take to actually collect and manage this robot?
So currently, the model is completely autonomous. Although the person who's controlling the model will have control of the model to move it how the person wants, but we aim on making it completely autonomous, which it is right now. So it has cameras and it can move and due to pre and post mapping of the entire area, it can move across the water body freely, and it knows its way around, and thus it can autonomously collect all of the waste material. So the human intervention in all of this collection process is when it comes back to land, and the waste material needs to be collected again through the mesh, and the mesh is to be put back, and then Zenith is to be redeployed inside the water. And we are also working on making the charging autonomous by using charging pads, but we're still working on it.
Thank you for that answer. And I know that Fatin has a question.
I have just one question. So how much would you charge per the net?
So currently, the cost of Zenith is 15,000 INR, which is 165 US dollars. And the model can collect 25 to 30 kgs of waste material.
So do
Great.
you plan to enhance the price later because of it according to the pollution, right? The more hard to clean the water bodies, it could be more different types and it could be more costly? What do you think?
Yes, ma'am. We are in the future, we're planning on creating multiple models of Zenith according to the kind of geographical area it's cleaning. So the price might change a little around all of these models, but we aim on keeping it as low as we can. And we also, since we aim on the giving Zenith on a lease basis to the government bodies or institutions which work with river cleaning, the price will comparatively lower down due to the subscriptions of the lease plans, annual plans, weekly plans, monthly plans, depending on the area to be cleaned.
And also, we plan to register this under various governmental environmental cleaning programs. So I believe government intervention and investment in this would help us to, um, actually set up the entire infrastructure and significantly reduce the cost.
Good, thank
Okay.
you.
Let's move on to Susie for her question.
So I have a question. After everything is collected, how are you sorting it? Because if you're collecting algae and there's plastic in there and all these things, how do you sort it? If you could give me some information on that, please.
Yes, ma'am. So currently we are working on making the waste detection as accurate as we can, as precise as we can, because we want to enable Zenith to segregate all of the waste material while collecting. So, like the mesh will have sections divided and it will collect the waste and sort all of the waste simultaneously while the collection is going on, so that all of the waste can be brought back to surface in a very good condition and not mixed up.
Nice. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
Okay, great. I think that all of the angels have had an opportunity to ask questions, so let's move on to the advice. Who would like to start us off there? I don't have my hands. Nobody has their hands up. So you know what? Because Fatine and Susie don't seem to, Gosh, I see your hand up, but since those two don't seem to have access to the hands, I'm going to let them start and then we'll hit you next, Gosha. So Susie, do you want to start with some advice?
Can you come back to me? I need a minute.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Fatine, did you want to say anything now or do you want us to come back to you?
Come back to me later.
Okay, all right, Gosha, you're up.
Actually, I was inspired by Fatin's question with my advice. I'm glad that you consider to produce different models because when you say 20, 30 kilo at the moment, when actually the fish I was talking about can be 30, 40 kilo or more. I think, yes, it's good to do your market research and just think about this. And I think when you said $150, so it's about 225 pounds, as far as I understood. I don't think so. This is a big price for somebody to pay and have to be able to have control over their own lakes. So I good luck with this, I think, and I would like to see these different models on the market, and I would like to see them in the use. Like I said, I know a little bit about the environment, so I would like to see them. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Gosha. Julian.
Yeah, so you mentioned your stakeholders earlier on when I asked the question, who would your customer be? So because what you're doing is such, a positive to the environment, if you don't already, I would recommend that you put together a board of advisors, people who could act as ambassadors or champions for you in the different sectors. So whether it's in government, whether it's in industry on the environmental side, whether it's in the fishing communities, I'm sure there are people who are well connected who would come on board just as advisors and ambassadors. And in that way, then I'm sure they can help you to open doors.
Great. Thank you, Julian. Kristen?
So my only real advice, I do a lot of work with climate investors and sort of building that community. Are you already aware of the Ocean Cleanup project or the company? Sure.
Yes, at certain point we are aware of the different things.
So I would use their model. You look at how they built their interceptor model because they've built a lot of interesting tech in this space, and actually their pitch is really well refined. And actually, you might be able to take things from their pitch and use that to push further and take some of their innovations and sort of how do we embed some of those in what you're doing. But for those that don't, I'll put the link in the chat just so you can have a look.
I changed my
Okay.
mind, Julie.
I'm sorry, Susie.
Oh, I said I have something.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
Just to add to what was just told to you, take what they've done and then really separate yourself out with how you separate out the garbage. I think that that is something very unique. And the recycling. I think those make you stand out differently from what's being done. So I would really work on that piece.
Good, thank you, Susie. Fatin, did you have anything to add?
I just want to add a bit what Coach has said, that the price is too cheap. Maybe you can think more about the price. Okay, it's $165. Is this because the idea is brilliant, so please revise the cost. Thank you, my dear.
Good.
It's
I believe that all of the angels have provided advice. If you have not, please let me know that right now before we move on. Well done, Team Zenith. Thank you very much. Nurbai, are you ready to go?
Yes, I'm ready to
Okay.
go.
All right, we're ready for you.
Okay, let me just share my screen.
Okay.
Imagine you're a mariculture farmer and you're performing seafood farming, and you're taking hundreds of measurements a year to decide which site is best when assessing where to do your seafood farming. This decision-making process can be full of errors and guesswork. So, our product, Mafasa, makes this decision-making process very easy. Introducing Mafasa, Mariculture Farming Site Assessment and Selection Tool, by me, Nirbhaya. So current solutions include the Site Assessment Toolkit by the University of Alaska Fairbanks. This provides seafood farming tools for a cheaper cost, but it does not provide a comprehensive scoring algorithm that lets you see what is the best way to make a good seafood farming decision. That's where Mafasa comes in. It's as easy to use as 1, 2, 3, 4. First, you can add an ocean region and product. Then you can select the product growth and ocean region parameters and also the importance of those parameters. Third, enter your observations across a year's time span. With a click of a button, you'll see results for which site is best. So we went through a huge feedback iteration loop. So we gave presentations to many sea grants across the US, and they helped us refine the problem and our solution more. So here's our solution. There are many parameters such as nitrogen and temperature. And in those parameters, there are many parameter readings. Based on whether these readings are within or out of the healthy product range, the measurement is marked as a 1 or 0. And all of these ones and zeros are boiled down into one number, which are multiplied by a level of importance. given by the farmer. This takes place for all the parameters, including nitrogen, temperature, and salinity. And these numbers, multiplied by their level of importance, are all summed up across parameters, which gives one site score, which determines how good a site is for mariculture farming. So we presented our invention at an Alaska Invention Convention. And there the Alaska Center for Innovation, Commercialization, and Entrepreneurship showed particular interest in this product. Currently, we're trying to expand our product into the real market from just running on a local host. And in addition, we're also developing greater data for more comprehensive use for farmers from remote areas. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Nearby.
So,
did you have something to say real quick?
Yeah.
Because we're going to go ahead and start with questions otherwise.
We can go to questions. I wanted to share a demo, but I can't find the file as of now.
Okay. Well, if you find the file and if we still have time, then you'll be able to show it. Gosha, I saw your hand go up and then back down. Is that right? No? All right. So Julian?
Hey, Nabai. Thanks for the presentation. And you delivered it really, really well. When you were talking about it, and it's clear you've given it a lot of thought. And my question, similar to an earlier question I had for one of the other entrepreneurs, where did you get the idea from? Do you know someone who's is a mariculture farmer? Is it someone in your family? Is it someone in your community? So I'm just interested in the backstory.
Yes, that is a really good question. So it all started with seeing a lot of people across the world, even in India, who are lacking food to eat. And from there, we got the inspiration so that 75% of the world is an ocean. So why don't we get people who don't have food today more food from the ocean? And that's where, when we were driving out of town, we heard a podcast about kelp farming and seafood farming. And from there started our journey for our problem identification.
Great. Thank you. Right, Gosha?
I think you're muted, I believe.
Yes, I didn't click strong enough. You say we. Who is we?
That is me. And
Okay.
I believe a mentor who is a real-time mariculture farmer in Alaska. So our mentor provided some main iterations for us that we can try. I hope you saw the cycle of the design process. And that's where we gave lots of presentations. And from there, we got mentorship from across the US so that we could find. And that's where I say we, because it's not just me.
I
It's also.
appreciate it. I appreciate it. Thank you for the answer. And didn't I say that I always ask after great background? This is your story, I think. Or this is part of your story. Yes. And yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Great. Sissy or Fritin, since you guys don't have a hand to raise, did either of you have a question? Go ahead, Suze.
Sure. So after you collect the data, what do people do with it? How do they change if they're farming in an ocean? How do they change any of the things you're tracking? Oh, you're muted. Sorry.
Could you clarify your question a bit again?
So you're tracking a lot of different you said nitrogen and different things, right?
Right.
To make sure that products can grow. So is that giving them information that this is a good spot? Or is that giving them information? What do they do with the information after they get it from you? I guess is my question, if you could clarify.
Yeah, I'll clarify the process, the entire algorithm and the process once again. So let's, may I share my slide?
Sure.
So that, yeah. So, so what happens, as easy as 1, 2, 3, 4 here,
Yeah, that's great. Thanks.
is that the farmers get to decide where they're doing their farming,
Okay, that's the answer.
and they decide to see what is the product, because this is adapted for a global scale, and it's also adapted for many products.
Okay.
So they get to choose their ocean region and their product, and they get to choose this level of importance that you see here, and
Okay.
then what is the healthy product range for their region.
Perfect.
So
Thank you.
they
That
just
answered
have
it.
to put that information in there, and then they have to put in the real data that they get from the ocean. And that's from the site assessment tool. That's the present technology. They get the actual measurements so-called the observations from the site assessment tool. And then they feed in what are the healthy product range bounds. And then they also feed in what is the level of importance. So then
Okay, nearby,
so
I think you did address her question in there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
And I don't
It
mean
was
to
great.
interrupt. I just don't want you to go through the whole thing again, because I think she understood the answer to your question. It was very early in your explanation. So, Christian, do you have a question?
I think actually, I guess my only question is how do you get a reliable data source and how can you ensure that you're not having errors in your data when it's being inputted by people?
Could you clarify that once, please?
Yes, of course. So from what I've seen, it's quite a manual data entry process or data management process. How do you make sure that data is accurate and not is accurately collected? Or was it still based on individual judgment?
So, are you asking whether... Oh, you're asking whether the data that's fed in is actually credible.
Yes.
Okay, that makes sense. So the thing, that is a good point, and that is a point that we are trying to improve. But as of the setup now, we're trying to collaborate with the existing site assessment toolkit so that now you get the credible measurements from the SAT, and then those exact measurements will be put into the scoring algorithm. That is the direct process.
So unless a person decides to put their random individual judgment into the model, if they use the site assessment toolkit.
So that's an automated process, yes, Nirbai? It's not a manually keyed process, yes or no?
Mostly automated. Yes.
Mostly automated. Okay. Did that answer your question, Kristen?
Yeah, all good. Thank you.
Okay. All right. And I believe Fatine said her question was already answered, so she doesn't have any. Anybody else have a last question before we move on to advice? Okay. Who wants to kick us off? Gosha?
Just to take on the surface what you answered to my question about storytelling, something what I said already to somebody else. That is important. That makes people to relate to what you're doing, because you're doing a great thing. If you add story to that, people will connect easier.
Sure.
Lizzie, go ahead.
Not sure if this is
Yeah, I'll jump in because I'm not sure. Yeah. So no, but I just wanted to. Yeah. Oh, sorry. Susie, do you want to go ahead?
It's okay, go ahead.
It's okay, go ahead. Similar to Gosha, that because your story is so compelling that you should start with the story. Because when you go into it, I think people might think, why are you doing this? They might have that question in their mind. What you're doing is brilliant, but they don't know what the why is. But if you start with the why, which is really compelling, I think that sets the scene for the rest of the story.
Like how big of an area would a farmer know that if the conditions are not right, how far away do they need to move to retest? So if it's not included, I would think about including that.
Good point.
Good point. Yes. That's one of the other parts we're working on now. That's like saying, okay, now that we said that this site is X% okay for site selection, given that is the case, we're thinking, or we're currently trying to develop an algorithm which can over time, or which can tell how far you may need to move in what direction to get a better site score. That is one major other part we're working on.
Okay, good.
Good plan.
Thank you, Nirbai. And Kristen, did you have an opportunity to go with advice? I can't remember.
I haven't done advice, but I'm going to just echo what everyone else has said. Actually, it's that narrative, and I think just remember for quite a lot of your audience, you're not always going to have an audience that understands the detail of maricultural farming, and just making sure that you're quite clear on that, because it's one of those things that is quite a specialized area. Again, if you so maricultural farming and data very rarely come together, so just be a bit careful on sort of don't overestimate the knowledge of the team that you're dealing with when you're pitching.
Yeah. Including me, because I knew nothing about maricultural farming at all. Fatine, did you have any comments for Nirbai specifically?
Okay, I love when you say that you have several things for your feedback. As you're collecting several feedbacks from companies, from university, which is good, which is quite solid. Okay, It's quite good things to be applied when you do some development and inventions like this, quite serious. And no more than that. My comment for this for today.
Okay, great. Thank you so much, Nirbai. Well done.
Thank you.
We are running up against the end here, and I want to make sure to respect everybody's time. And I just want to give any of the Buckingham Angels who want to the opportunity to say any closing remarks to the group of students, the whole group of students. Go ahead, Julian.
Yeah, I just wanted to say congratulations to you all. It's obvious that you've taken the time to prepare your presentations and to prepare your pitches. It was very well thought through. Congratulations on the hard work. The ideas were really innovative. You should all be really, really proud of yourselves. And I just want to give you all the encouragement, if you want to keep on pushing with your ideas. I'm sure, like myself, the rest of the judges are extremely impressed with you. So best of luck for the future.
Great. Thank you so much, Julian. Gosha.
Thank you very much. Following on that as well, I started saying that I'm still getting my head around calling myself a founder, being twice or three times your age. I'm actually so impressed where you are, your age. And I wish you all the best for the future, for developing your ideas, and well done for making the start. Yes, when I look at you, I wish that I started much earlier. All the best, guys.
Thank you, Gosha. Susie, would you like to offer any last comments?
Sure. I would say similar to everyone else. Congratulations. These are really well thought out ideas. I would come back to something I said earlier, which is wherever you live, I would definitely consider some sort of initial protection, and that doesn't mean full patent, but you're sharing some really interesting ideas. And I think that you should consider protecting them in some ways. And that, back to what I was saying, in the United States, it's a provisional, see what it is in your country. But something that gives you some time to hopefully find buyers and have a little bit of, this is my idea. So something just to leave with.
Thank you, Susie. Fatin, would you like to make any closing remarks?
Okay. First, congratulations. You guys are brilliant. You come up with very good things, which is some of the ideas I'm speechless. Why I'm gonna listen new things for me. And you guys are the future leaders. So come up with the good things. Okay. And all the best.
Thank you. Thank you. Kristen, did you have closing remarks?
Yeah, so from my side, yeah, these ideas have been really impressive. Actually, just focusing on ideas that have a real social benefit, it's really impressive to see. Not just things that are sort of strongly commercially driven. Think about things that improve the world is really good to see, and far better than some of my own students actually sometimes. So yeah, well done.
Thank you. I think that all of the angels have had a chance to say to offer closing remarks. You went first, didn't you, Julian? Or have you? Okay, good. All right, perfect. So I want to thank Gosha and Fatin and Susie and Christian and Julian and Nigel, who lost his battery power, and Jake for all of your help today. And for the angels, we'll reconvene you by email and talk about how this went and how what it'll look like for next year too. But I thank you all for taking your Saturday time out. I know it's 90 minutes of your Saturday, and I appreciate it. And for you young innovators, we hope to see you again and again in the Global Innovation Challenge. If not with an improvement in this year's innovation, something brand new. And I love what you've done, and your empathy is just like inspiring. So bless you, Nirbai. Poor thing. All right. Thank you, everybody, and have a wonderful rest of your Saturday.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.